Hi, everybody. It's Linda G here with our friend, Sterling. How are you doing? How you doing?
Doing great. Just these are busy weeks for all of us and a lot going on all around, right? Not just in our daily lives, but in the news. And it's just a circus, right? It's a circus everywhere. Yeah.
Well, we said this stuff was going to happen and it's just boom, boom, boom. But
Yeah.
I just read one of when you hit 17,000, I gave a free reading for one of your people you guys picked. She was delightful.
Oh, great.
And when
Great.
you hit, what are you at now?
So when we hit 18,000, I think we're 17,500 or 600 right now. So it's 18,000, then you're offering another half hour
I'm
free
offering
reading.
another
And
half
I,
hour.
well, yeah.
When you hit
Yeah.
20, you're on your own.
Actually, you know, when I hit 20, I'm going to give away either an Apple iPhone or an iPad.
Wow.
So that's actually, it'll be the choice of the winner, but I'll provide more details
As
when we hit 20,000. Yeah.
But you know, how long have you been doing this?
Well, I mean, my channel, I started beginning of February of this year, but you and I, yeah, I guess that's the appropriate way, because you and I have been doing it for almost a year.
Right.
But my channel has been
Let me
since
tell
like
you,
February.
I didn't get to where you're at. I've been doing this close to 5 years.
Okay.
So it took me 5 years to get to 45.3 where I'm at now. And
Yeah.
you're doing real good. Real good.
And also, you know, a lot to your credit. Thank you very much, because it's a mutual team effort, right?
You just dropped my name and there you go.
I always say you're like the Johnny Carson of psychics. You're like Johnny Carson. So
I've never heard that. So listen, I also want to mention there was a pretty good prediction you had done, and I put it on my page too, about a significant earthquake. You had said there was going to be a significant earthquake, and boy, were you right. There was an 8-pointer up in Alaska.
Was
something else you predicted that I was going to mention that came true.
I don't remember exactly. Yeah, I don't remember exactly.
That earthquake. Oh well, hello. You said that there was going to be another like pandemic energy form coming in. You didn't want to scare
me. Oh yeah,
people,
you and I saw that like 10 months ago or something, and I remember telling you, I said, should we say something? I said, let's hold off a little bit because we're right in the middle of the first one.
We're just finally getting vaccinated in.
And I said, it's not good timing to say, by the way, there's another big one coming behind this one. So we're on top of it.
Yeah, the good news is those who have been vaccinated, even if they get sick, it's usually not going to kill them.
Yeah, no, that's true. But the dangerous part about the Delta variant is that even if you're vaccinated, you could still be a major carrier for it.
Oh, I know.
Now it's 1,000 times more contagious than the first strain. So they're saying that now, like measles, every person could infect 9 people, 1 in 9. So the problem is if you're vaccinated, you won't die, but you could still be a super spreader. Exactly. So it's difficult. Now, I think you and I have talked, but by the end of this year, it's going to be pretty much under control. Into January, we're going to get all our arms around it, but that's because the vaccine manufacturers being ramped up big time by like the end of August. And then I saw individuals or kids under 12, like 5 to 12, starting to get the vaccine like September, October kind of time frame. And then by the end of the year to January, we'll get all the rest. So we're on a good trajectory now.
And the good news is somebody just wrote on Twitter, they're in a place in New York where this van or this thing comes along and gives that injection. He said, that's the normal, but this time I'm happy to see there's a line.
Yeah.
So people are really starting to get vaccinated. Some guy, some churchgoer that Trumpster that loves Trump and this COVID is a bunch of crap. He's dying in the hospital as we speak. So, okay. So on to good news. We got your questions.
Okay. Well, Nancy, like other than that, it reminds me, by the way, it's that joke, right? Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Hey, actually, I was going to ask a question when it says here from the other side, Carl Sagan. Does he have a message for us?
He does. And one of my favorite people to talk with, I've talked with a couple of times. He's around us right now as we're doing the show. But I aligned with him really well because he really understood the blend he was on between science, spirituality, and ETs. So he felt it all went together. And now that he's on the other side, he's had a chance to not only experience that, but understand the universe better and spent a lot of time with ETs. So remember, he wrote the book Contact, which became the movie with Jodie Foster. One of my favorite movies, but that movie, he depicted a blend between science, heaven, and ETs. So he did a really good job on that. I just got a cold chill. He's around us right now.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, he wanted to confirm for everybody. The other thing he told me to tell everybody was that there's so much about the universe we don't understand yet, but we will inside of almost like a decade, 10 years. So as more of the ETs come out within 5 years here, we're going to get a lot more information as to how things work. And also this week, scientists had a news report out that they claimed Einstein was right again because they saw light behind black holes. So now they understand a little bit better about how black holes work. But you'll see there's a news report this week. They said Einstein was right again. So Carl Sagan is backing all that up.
Right. So speaking of holes, do you think that these Armageddon, well, no, I'm not going to say that. I just want to know, because Carl Sagan, all these reports, are they just more public that there's ETs around us? Or has it always been the same, but we're bringing it out more? Are there more of them coming around checking us out?
No, pretty much they've been here for millions of years. So it's not really changed in our lifetime. But what's changing is their need to kind of come out in public now to save the earth. Okay. Because if you go back a lot of, over the history of the earth, this is probably our fourth go round as humankind. Okay. Because humankind has been put off the earth a couple of other times. We won't go into all that in this show, but they want to make sure that this time we make it. So
okay, well, the earth collapsing would not help them either.
Correct. This is like it's a diamond in the galaxy. There's certain things here on Earth that are very unique in terms of resources and the way the planet operates, that it's a diamond for the universe, so they don't want to see it go anywhere.
Right. And people say Mother Nature is mad. On my last video, I said, I didn't hear that. I hear that it's a matter of balance. And right now the balance is off. So Earth will balance itself out.
Completely true. And that's an energetic equation. Energy always balances itself. So, heat and cold and pressure and low pressure, there's always a balance to the earth. It's physics. And so that's what's going on here. Yeah.
That's so cool. Okay. Will Nancy be able to set the record straight on January the 6th? Or with her committee, January 6th?
Yeah, no, I get 100%. Now, what's interesting is she's going to end up writing what I call, quote unquote, like the Bible to the event. So the January 6th Commission Bible, it'll be like the reference book and the reference output. Here's who did what, here's who knew what, here was the timing. And that'll end up being kind of the foundation for a lot of litigation that goes forward in indictment. So, it's going to end up being the Bible, almost like another Mueller report. So,
and I see some people showing their rears and trying to act like I don't have to testify, and them actually putting them in jail.
That's exactly what's going to happen. There's going to be subpoenas going on, but they're going to fight the subpoenas. But what's interesting is it'll be such a public fight that it'll be like, wait a minute, what do you have to hide? Why are you fighting the subpoena so hard if you weren't involved? So interestingly enough, that the people that fight the subpoenas will completely indict themselves. It's like I was part of it.
That's so cool. Do you foresee anyone that is subpoenaed not showing it? We just said this, not showing it, and if they don't want consequences. Yep.
Yeah, they'll fight it, and the only consequence I see is they're going to, fight it, drag it through the courts, say unconstitutional, and you don't have enough GOPs on the committee. They're just going to fight it in court. So, yeah.
Do you see vaccine mandates becoming more common, especially like with, large employers?
Yeah, no, 100% there too. Absolutely, and we're already starting to see that roll out with the largest companies, Apple, I think Google, and Walmart. Yeah. As well as a lot of federal and state governments. Yeah, so it's going to be a mandate. Right now it's pretty obvious the vaccines are extremely helpful, and it really doesn't matter kind of where you're coming from, what political perspective. this is all about life and death. So yeah, I see a lot of companies ramping that up as a mandate. I do.
And listen, Macron just said France has to be mandatory. And a bunch of people are upset, but 80% of France wants it. So the ones that are upset are the other 20.
Exactly.
But you know what the key is? Sorry, I just took a Pepsi AC.
Okay.
The thing is what I see is it's going to be our employers. It's going to be the big names that I even feel like health people will say, you know what? It's like if you're a smoker, we're not going to cover you. You don't get the vaccine, forget about it.
Yeah, you're bringing up a very interesting point, because that is something that's coming up. I see a lot of the health insurance companies and life insurance companies now redoing their policies, because you can't have someone act completely responsibly and then have $500,000 of expenses you have to pay, for hospital costs. So I do see the insurance companies, for an economic reason, now shifting gears and making requirements. Or what the very least do I see is that if you say, okay, I'm not going to get the vaccine, then your policy's reduced. Then we're not going to cover you for the full thing because too high risk.
Too high risk. And the other thing is, somebody said on Twitter, if make it a thing that you have to do in order to own a gun.
Oh, that's great.
They won't do that, but yeah. Did Bill Barr leave things exposed on purpose so that the current administration would find it and leave him alone? Interesting.
Yes, completely. And there's a duality to the reason he did it. One is that he actually felt a little compelled to bring some of the truth out, a little bit of his conscience. But the other part was that he knew litigation was coming down the road. And so you kind of want to point to, hey, wait a minute, I helped. I actually gave you, the breadcrumb trail to how all this played out, or, the facts.
Right.
And he also want to use his leverage in any future cases here to say, wait a minute, I'm not completely guilty. I did help. Here's how I helped.
Right. So. There you go. Will Tucker Carlson ever be taken off the air and held accountable for all his lies? Oh my God, they lie while breathing.
Yeah. What I get is he'll be off the air within 12 months. So within 12 months from where we are right now, that puts him out into next year. But there's I see a big backslide. There's a number of things that'll catch up with them that'll start to affect Fox ratings. And, it gets down to money, unfortunately, right? Yeah. So as the backslide happens and they lose all the sponsors, then it'll be a no-brainer. I get it's like 12 months. So summer of next year.
Can you ask Sterling about General Michael Flynn, what he sees in his immediate future?
Well, I see him getting dragged into this whole January 6th Insurrection Commission report. And so he's going to be part of the whole host of characters. It's like Sesame Street. Right. The whole host of characters are going to be brought in here. And, one by one, everybody's going to get taken down in court.
Right. So and his brother too.
Absolutely. And I feel like there's two other generals they're telling me that were connected with his brother that are there were like two other generals working with the brother. They're also going to be sucked into this vortex. Yeah.
That's good. Behavior unbecoming. Mm-hmm. Well, the people who spoke the truth in the impeachment hearing, like Colonel Vindman, etc., ever be asked to return to their jobs? And would they even want to? Well, Vindman got a big promotion. He got a big promotion.
But what I get on that is that there's almost like a lot of pain associated with that whole thing. Personal pain for Vindman and for the nation. So I get Vindman on like the personal side. He's going to get taken care of, like whether it's the retirement plan or pension. He's going to get very well taken care of. But I don't get they're going to ask him to come back in. It's kind of like, we're going to let that lie and we're going to move on. Not because Vindman is not good. It's just kind of like we need to put that chapter behind us. That's why I see kind of happening. But they're going to take care of him with a pension. Yeah.
Yeah, he got a big promotion. I know that. I'll have to look it up. So he makes money. He just released a book too, by the way. Will the persons responsible for disabling the alarms in the offices of the congressman in the Capitol be discovered and charged?
Yes. And you know what I get, what's interesting about that is I get they were vendors, or almost like what they call heating, HVAC, heating, ventilating, air conditioning vendors that were somehow empowered or given the keys to the kingdom and how to do it. So it's almost like somebody in 45's organization, they authorized and helped vendors go do it. So that wasn't like a congressman doing it or a staffer, but they got a vendor to do it. And I get like an HVAC vendor or like an alarm vendor. So this will all come out.
It hasn't come forward and said it. We were the ones that did it. They
No,
must have
I
done
know.
it knowing that it was wrong.
Yeah, no, they knew it was wrong, but it was like they said, look, here's the plan. We're going to compensate you well. But I always get it was like a third-party vendor that did it.
And people were asking, did I think it was Bobart, Lauren Bobart, that did those bombs? You know, Trump wanted bomb. He wanted that. He wanted all this chaos so he could claim, what do you call it, where you shut everything down and then he would take
martial law.
Yeah, he wanted to do
law.
that.
Yeah.
But those but I never thought it was Lauren that did that. I think it's somebody else.
I don't get that either. No.
Were hacks engineered into the hardware and actually manufactured into computer chips in some voting machines where Trump, McConnell, and Graham won?
Yeah, here again, it's like 100%. What's interesting is that the chip technology that was used on the circuit boards is discoverable. So we've actually seen this in prior years in other technology areas where, for example, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but like Chinese manufacturers, they would put special chips on the board that were very hard to see, but they gave them what they call backdoor access to the devices. Okay. So yes, there were some chips added to the boards, and I feel like sometimes you have to use a microscope to see the chip, to see the extra chip on the board, but it will be discovered. You know.
Okay, and I feel Russia had something to do with it too.
Oh, absolutely. I'm talking about what we've seen in the past from our Chinese friends doing it.
Will the government finally do something about hedge funds manipulation of the stock market, or are they in bed with Congress?
No, I see Congress stepping in to take a couple of different actions to make it a more even playing field. I still feel they're going to go after what I call high frequency trading. That's been something that's been ongoing for a while. High frequency trading is where some funds use very high speed networks to speed up trades before the public. So when they knew a trade was coming, 60 Minutes did a report on it a year or two ago, but I do see high frequency trading still being something they're going to take care of, as well as leveling the playing field. They do, yeah.
Okay. My mother-in-law has dementia. Now she barely speaks. Does she recognize the family and wants to speak? Question mark.
Yeah, very typical. Yeah, absolutely recognizes the family. So you're actually your spirit side does recognize the family, what's going on. But I also feel like when they get in those states, it's much easier for them to talk to relatives on the other side. So if this was a mother, I think they said, I think that mother is genuinely also talking to relatives that already passed over as well. So. Yeah.
Germany's Chancellor Angela Merkel is finishing her last term. Elections coming in September. What kind of future do you see in Germany?
Well, it doesn't look to me like she's going to rerun. I mean, it looks like she's going to leave. But then the question was, what's the future of the government? Was that kind of question?
She's stepping down, and they're going to have elections in September.
What I see is that it's going to be a more moderate candidate, almost like a Green Party candidate that steps in, and it looks to me like it's a woman. So still another woman.
Another woman. That's fantastic. You heard it here, everybody.
Yeah.
Why did Mitch McConnell donate his campaign money for ads for vaccinations for Kentucky? One thing about Mitch McConnell, he's on the get a vaccine thing.
Yeah. Well, what they're telling me is he really changed his tune because he's trying to shift the context of what's about to come down for him. So this is almost like a good-hearted gesture. I feel like a trusted source for him said, almost took him aside, said, look, you need to do this in order to make things look better down the road. So this is almost like a strategy move, if you will. Like, okay, I'm going to look good. I'm going to do this. Then if anything comes up, wait, I gave all the money to
Right.
all these. So,
You know,
but
he
I
was
feel like it was
just
a
on,
trusted source.
they just had him on Saturday, you know, when they were doing in Congress or Senate, they were talking about the big infrastructure bill. And he was giving thumbs up how
Yeah.
good he thought this bill was. And I
Yeah.
thought to myself, you know, the man who said he wouldn't let Biden win anything.
Right. Exactly.
What happened?
Yeah.
Something's on him.
No, I keep getting, my guys were just telling me that a trusted source took him aside. I don't think it's 45. There's somebody else is a trusted source and said, look, you know, you need to shift your strategy here a little bit because, you know, we can see what's coming down the road. You need to do this. So, yeah.
Well, and also remember, when they were talking about it, Trump called him stupid. He's dumb. It's the worst speaker of the Senate ever. And there was only going to be like 4 extras that were going to vote for it. And after Trump did that, it doubled.
Right. Right.
So maybe they're tired of being bullied by Trump.
I wish that was the case. I'm not sure that's the case, but it's getting better. Yeah.
Okay. Psychics discourage use of Ouija boards because it opens up unprotected portal. Why are the use of tarot cards or pendulum different? Do they also open up portals?
What I get on that is that angels, and so high-level archangels, angels are not attracted to Ouija boards because they feel like many times they get used with too many people's energy. Like you have too many people using the board, putting their hands on it. And the angels are not attracted to it because they feel like it then brings through confusing information. So I don't get it as like opening up a portal. It's just angels like to leave that alone. Not the case so much with pendulums or tarot cards where it's kind of a one-on-one experience, but it's the confusion that I get angels like to stay away from it. So what happens though, by the way, if you don't get a lot of angels interacting, then you get prankster spirits jumping in.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, as soon as you ring the telephone to the other side, if it's a phone booth and no one's there, people just come running. So
yeah, that makes total sense. Will the cops who protected the Capitol recover from their injuries?
Yeah, they will, you know, and a lot of the injuries are not just physical, but they're emotional. So it's a good number of years here, but I do see them as the Biden administration moves along and a lot of the testifying and the indictments, the emotional healing will get better. So I give that a yes. Yeah.
Will Edward Snowden be pardoned and allowed back into the United States?
What I get on that is he will be allowed back in the United States. I don't see a pardon, but I see a fair trial. So it looks to me like in 2 to 3 years, he gets back in and then they give him a fair trial. I think it's really going to go okay. But I do see good process there. Yeah.
Do you see a lot of people leaving the planet in the next year or two?
Was that, do we see a lot of people? Was that the question?
See a lot of people leaving the planet.
Yeah, unfortunately, absolutely. This all has to do with the energy balance and energy shift we were talking about. And look at it at its most basic form. This Delta virus is nasty, and it's 1,000 times worse than the first string.
Right.
More contagious. We and I were talking about it. So at this point, you know, those that don't get vaccinated are highly at risk for a bad situation. So yeah, there's a bit of a cleansing going on and people leaving the planet. There are.
Well, I just sent you and your lovely wife, Linda, something that I was just reading on some magazine, and they were saying that they're killing off the Republicans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's one of the reasons Biden won, by the way. 500,000 deaths wasn't a plus on his list of accomplishments.
No, very true. Very true.
So with all these people, it's terrible. And the people are saying, don't wear masks, don't get vaccinated, or all vaccinated. Okay, our spirit.
By the way, that's the crazy part, though. By the way, you know, their leader, 45, went and had all the vaccines and the monoclonal antibodies, the whole bit, but they're still saying don't get vaccinated.
Right.
It's a very it's a very weird, strange metaphor.
And
Yeah.
it's working against them. It's not helping them.
Right, right.
Are spirit boxes really hearing and speaking for the other side?
And I assume whoever asked that question is asking about a lot of those electronic ghost devices, spirit boxes, the things that allow you to hear. Yeah. So here's the thing: they do work. Spirit is energy, and energy can affect electronic devices. The only place where it gets a little more difficult to translate, sometimes the words don't translate well, but there may in fact be a spirit trying to communicate, but maybe they're trying to say the word door and it comes out bed. So yeah, they do work. It takes a little bit of practice, but yeah, they do work. Mhm.
Okay, when will the effects of the damage of Earth's climate and water start to make a substantial change for the good? I think it's already starting.
Yeah, it's starting, but like I've looked at this many times, is that we've got pretty much a 3-decade run here, running of the Earth, complete Earth healing. So this is we're part of a 3-decade run we're on now, but it's going to start making substantial progress over the next number of years, and then by 10 years out, the green economy is really going to start to take effect.
Good.
So we're on a good trend here. Yeah.
I know Africa right now is really struggling. I sent you the article. They're struggling with big time floods.
Right.
Will Congress extend the eviction moratorium? Well, as of today, they didn't.
Yeah. So if that person's asking about the one that, lapsed midnight on Saturday, which was last night, obviously the answer is no for that one. That's easy. But what I do see is a new type of program coming into place that's now going to try to be a new kind of a business model. So it's going to be, so how do we look, if a lot of people get thrown out of their houses, that's not a good thing.
No.
But Congress still wants to help all the landlords, the people that own the properties, right? Because they're hurting too. I see a new program coming in here, which I'll call bridge loans for landowners and building owners. And I see more programs coming for people that, let's say, need housing. There'll be new housing programs like housing benefits. Yeah, so they're going to work something different. It's going to take another few days, weeks here to get that done, but there'll be a new program coming out.
Well, apparently Biden went through the roof when he found out there's $92 million sitting somewhere that was supposed to go towards this. And he's like,
and I think
what the hell did you guys do with the money?
I think that's part of what I see is this new business model, this new program that'll roll out that will now help both sides of the equation. Both,
the people that lose a place, or even the owners that lose that place, because I know a lot of people own property and they have somebody that can't pay the rent, they're going to lose their property and the place they're living in.
Exactly.
So what happens is that's on your record, and good luck getting another place.
Yeah, very true. And that's all part of, I think, this new program that's going to come out. I'll call it a housing program, but it's going to be a new program here very shortly that'll try to work on all these.
Working on it, but they all took off on vacation. So.
Yeah.
Will Canada and Mexico's governments and their people ever join the United States to become one nation?
No.
I don't see that either. Do you know there's still a lot of anger from Mexico towards Americans for the Mexican-American War? We took California.
Right. I know.
Sterling, last week you stated Beto O'Rourke will not win in the governor's race. Will he run for the Senate and win? ?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do not see him having success with the governor's race, but I do see him having success.
I don't even know if he's going to run. I'm really spotlighted on there, but I see him winning something.
Yeah, no, for me, it looks like he does win the Senate race. And it looks like he does put a foot in the water in the governor's race. So whether that means he starts a campaign and there's a big field of candidates and then he ducks out early. But there's,
Okay, does Giuliani's claim to have Hunter Biden's hard drive and damning information, or is he just flapping his jaws?
Yeah, well, it's the latter. It's the latter. It's just it's a pie in the sky Hail Mary pass. Yeah.
Is TikTok time traveler real? I don't even know what that is.
No, but it's a good marketing and a PR ploy. So whoever's behind it is certainly, it feels like they're monetizing it some way. They will monetize it, whether it's a book or a movie or, yeah, it's a marketing and a PR play. You know?
Okay. Can babies read a person's energy?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, we've always said this before, but when you're born up to about 5 years old, you're a great psychic medium. We all
Oh,
are.
yeah.
And so you can read energy and you can see grandma and grandpa in the closet and, you know, from the passed away years ago. It's all good, you know. And what I mean by that is, you know, young kids will see ghosts, but it could be a relative that's coming around to say hello.
Right.
But yes, babies can read energy. Absolutely. By
There's
the
a lot
way,
of- what?
I was gonna say, by the way, that's why sometimes you'll see some babies have very adverse reactions to some people.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, what's going on there? That person may be have a very difficult personality or cruel to animals or something. Babies read it.
Same thing with animals. Animals will react. For some reason, they just don't
Absolutely.
like the person.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, I'm the one the animals come up to and want my love 24/7. Okay, so what was I going to ask? Okay, do you know? Oh, I know what I was going to say. They can see their deceased relatives, but I was going to say these baby monitors. A lot of people on these paranormal shows will show film, and you can see like some sort of ghost body walk up and lean over, and the baby's cool
Absolutely.
and giggling.
Yeah. And you can see orbs too. Huh?
Yeah, yeah. Do you know if the Sphinx cats are ETs?
No, they're not ETs, and that's the hairless version of cat. They look a little unusual, but no, they're not ETs. However, they're one of the longest animal species, almost like next to octopus. But they've been around millions of years. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, this is a good one. The new variants appear to be frizzing out sooner than expected, including India and Great Britain, which have very different environments and practices. Why is this happening?
I get that that's a misnomer. So whoever asked the question, there was an assertion there that they're dying out faster. What I get is it's on the same trajectory as the U.S. and Australia, and it's not dying out faster. The Delta variant is running the same kind of a course worldwide. However, the Lambda variant, it looks like it may be a little more tameable than the Delta variant, but the Delta variant is running the same course worldwide.
Okay. Do you see anything coming up next week?
Yes, I see a lot of activity continuing on this week with the January 6th Commission. We're going to see a lot of, circus around that. Here's something that I see that I wish I didn't see, and I hope this is wrong, but it looks like some other, shopping mall shooting.
I really
hate when I get that.
I know, because I saw more violence. Yeah.
Yeah, but my guides call it to me as like a shopping mall shooting. It might be in the Midwest somewhere, but that looks like there's something coming up with that. And a few new U.S. earthquakes. I don't think they're going to be as big as we saw off of Alaska, but I do see some 5s and 6s here across the U.S. So that's coming up this week. Yeah.
Right. And do you have any information your guys want to share?
Yeah, very simple message this week. They're telling me, wake up to the truth every day, and the truth will set you free. So what that means is kind of understand what your truth is, wake up to that truth every day, understand it, and allow that to help you move forward. So know the truth will set you free in a very broader sense as we all navigate through life here for everything, politics, people, vaccines, everything. Know the truth. So
that's excellent, my friend. Excellent. So, okay, well, this was a wonderful Sunday. I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
You will. I say every other week we're doing this, so we will.
You have your own shows you're doing that are very informative.
I do. Yeah, my Linda's keeping me on track on all that stuff. She said we got a show to do, and so she's keeping me on track.
Can I just buttered popcorn and watch this show?
Yeah, all good. Well, it's a lot of fun doing these, so it's a pleasure getting together always. And when the vaccine ramps down, then we'll get together for dinner or something.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, my friend, you take care.
All right, all the best.